What's up, folks? Welcome back to the Dev Shop. So today we're going to actually work with gems. Now, at its very core, gems are modular systems that allow you to create extensions of the engine, whether it be for existing functionality in the engine or brand new functionality, like adding a new audio system, creating a behavior tree system, or you can be as simple as using it to house assets that you don't really want particularly in your project to convolute it and make it bigger than what it is or what it should be. Now, as you guys know, the engine is in dev preview, so as of today, which is August 5th, when creating gems, you have to do so through the command line. So let's get started with that. As you guys can see, I have my O3DE folder open. What I'm going to do is navigate to our scripts folder. In our O3DE.bat is a file that we want to use to be able to run commands such as creating a gem, registering the gem, or even tying it to an external directory if we need to. So I'm gonna go here, go to CMD, and now we have that reference there. I'm gonna actually pull this up so we can keep it on the same window. And yeah. All right, so the first part of the command is going to be to access the O3DE.bat, and then we're going to run create gem, and then we're going to specify the gem path. And that looks like this. So as you can see, we have the O3DE.bat, we have create-gem, and we have --gem-path. And after this, we're just going to specify a path for it to be created. So if we go back to our O3DE folder, we go to gems, which is where I house all of my gems. You'll see all of the system gems that are needed for the engine to function. And what I'm going to do is just create a gem. So I'm going to create one under Dev Shop. As you can see, I have my Weapon Master gem. That's actually a gem that I sell on my Gumroad, but it's horribly out of date. So I'm going to fix it up and get it ready for new usage, and then I'll put it back on my Gumroad. But I'm going to just create a different regular gem right next to it. So I'm going to grab the main gem path. I'm going to paste, and then I'm just going to create another dev shop test. All right, and if I hit enter, we should see a dev shop _ test pop up under the Weapon Master one. Or sorry, above it. I don't know my alphabets. But yeah, so we have dev shop _ test. Now, a few things to take note of. If you guys remember, if you're coming from Lumberyard, you guys remember that you have the option to add code or assets, because those two things kind of make the difference on how your gem is structured. So we go into our tests, you see we have code and platform, and under code we have our source, we have our includes and things of that nature, we have our CMake files, and you can create your code gems here. That is defaulted. That is a default way that you structure a gem. If you want to use it just as an asset, what we need to do is I'm going to create another one. So I'm going to repost that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab this, copy and paste. I'm just going to add a 2 next to it. But before I hit enter, what I want to do is space. I want to -- template -name, and I'm going to say asset gem. So the gem system and many other things inside of O3DE work off templates. You can actually see them if you go back to your main O3DE folder and go to templates, and you see we have asset gem, which is what we're about to create, a default gem, which is what is used for default if you have no template name or if you actually use the default gem as a designator. And then we also have it for default project and minimal project, which you can actually designate inside of the project manager when you're creating a new project. So these are templates that you can use to structure your gems in your projects. So we're going to use the asset gem. And now when I hit enter, if I go back to my gems, and we see dev shop underscore test 2. Now we shouldn't see a code folder or platform folder. We're just gonna have an asset folder that is just there for assets. So to give you guys an example on how I use this, if I scroll down, you'll see that I have my T Legacy, which is what I call my game studios, True Legacy games. We have animations, audio, environment, models, textures. And I do this because I don't want to convolute my main project. So if I was using version control, I'm only keeping things in the main project that pertain to the project. If I'm prototyping or if I'm grabbing universal models or assets from the asset stores or what I have in my collection, I'm going to put them in here. That way it keeps my project less convoluted, more succinct to what the project is, and I can always grab assets here per project. I can add them to whatever project that I want, which brings us to our next part. After we create the gem, we want to make sure that we registered the gem so that it will show up in the project manager when we want to activate it or deactivate it. So all you're doing at this point is now you're grabbing the O3DE.bat, and then we're going to have register instead of create gem, and then we'll give the gem path again. So I'm just going to grab this. I don't need that part, don't need the template, just the regular name. And I didn't add a space, that's my fault. All right, and as you guys can see, it's just the path of the gem that I created, and we're just going to register it. So once we do that, I hit enter. Now I didn't register the first one because I want to show you guys that registering is just as important as creating the gem. So when we hit register on the test 2, I'm going to go ahead and open up our project manager. As you guys can see here, if I go to my dev shop and go to edit project settings, configure gems. Now if I were to scroll all the way down to the D's, you'll see we have our dev shop underscore test 2, but we don't have test 1 because we did not register it. In the same vein, as you guys can see down here, down in my T's, I've registered all of my asset holders gems, and all of them are registered here, and I just haven't deactivated. I haven't activated them for this project, but they are for my main project. So you would just, activate them and then save. And then of course you still have to rebuild the project. You can either do that inside of the project manager or you can do it through the command line. Now, the last thing before I let you guys go is that there are going to be times where for some reason that the gem does not build correctly even after creating and registering. This is a known issue. I will show it to you guys here on the screen. It's actually 2, so depending on which category you fall into, and they're working to get that solved and fixed. As of today, I'm not sure if it is fixed. I am working off the development branch, so if you're working off the stabilization branch, you're probably going to get that after I do, since I'm on the development branch, and that goes for anyone else who's on the development branch. But in any case that this happens to you, what you want to do is kind of brute force your way to adding an external subdirectory for your gem. And what that looks like is the same as the register, but what you want to do is add another argument, and I'm going to show it to you guys here. So we have our register command, right? Now it's asking for our gem path. So I'm going to add this. And we have our test 2 for the gem path. So very standard procedure. We went over this a few minutes ago. The new thing you want to add is the argument for external subdirectory, and that looks something like this. So I can stretch this out so you guys can see the whole thing. So that looks like this. So we have the register, we have our gem path, and then we have our external subdirectory project path. And what we want to point to is the project itself. So if I go out and get my dev shop, I'm going to grab that, control, space, and that's the full command you want. And this is only if just by creating and registering doesn't give you the result you need. Like, it's not showing up in your project, it's not compiling. When you compile your project, then you want to brute force it this way. And the best way to know, if I go to my project and I go to the a project JSON. If I was to open this in Notepad, you see here, if you check here, you will have a external directories path that shows up when you do this. If you don't have your gems there, a lot of times it's not going to show up in your project. So if it doesn't happen when you enable it on the project manager and compile, then you want to brute force it this way. And when actually, let me close Notepad. When I hit enter and it's done doing its job, I'm going to go back to project JSON. Now you see that the underscore test2 is under the subdirectories, which means it's going to show up in my project after I build it the next time. So this is a temporary fix. If you guys run into this issue, just remember when you create your gem and you register it and then you enable it in the project manager and then you build your project, if it doesn't show up, you want to use this method to brute force it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned a little bit more about gems, how to use them. There's infinite way. Now I wouldn't say infinite ways, but there are many ways to use the gem system, especially if you're just using it for asset holding, which is what I'm doing it for now. And then eventually I want to be able to create gems that are beneficial to you guys and to the engine itself. And that will require more of like a code-based structure, which is the default gem setup. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know down below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please do so. If you guys want to support the channel, you can do that with the links in the description down below. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys want to share the video, which kind of helps me grow, that'd be awesome as well. But other than that, hope you guys are having a very dope day. Hope you guys are prospering in your projects. And until the next time, keep developing.